Hello and welcome to Cadenza. When I started thinking about making this program, the possibilities were broad and unruly. Originally, I thought we would explore the origins and lives of various songs throughout the years from some familiar writers and some writers who were less so. And while the possibilities were virtually endless, that felt like too passive an exercise to build on. It can only be a presentation of what exists as we know it, with little, if any, connection to our curiosity. This limits both our enthusiasm for the information and our desire and ability to develop any new insights or inspiration to do something with what we discover, or at least consider the conversation. I mean, even when the ideas are fleshed out with any details I can find out through my research, I can only surmise what carried a song from the spark of an idea to its delivery as a listenable existing entity, no matter who created it. It's a near practical application of those ideas, a sort of learning by doing kind of thing, or an exercise in comparison that makes the concepts more tangible, more relatable. So I figured that if I apply the same filters, questions, and highlights that fuel creation for my own songwriting experiments, we might be better able to understand how and why a song might come together to find its way from a layperson's perspective. History has shown us that a lot of regular people have created some amazing music, which I suppose makes them extraordinary people in their own right. We'll talk a lot about where songs come from here. I mean, that is one of the biggest questions in music, isn't it? From the simplistic to the ethereal, someone thought of something in a certain way that allowed them to conjure that idea as an expression in song, and then will themselves to move that idea into a shareable reality. Good or bad doesn't matter. In the past few episodes alone, we've talked about songs that come from circumstance, songs that are inspired by assignment, challenge, or suggestion, and new songs that are patterned after existing songs, some flagrantly so. Today, the tale of a song inspired by a gravestone of a man who lived a long time ago. I didn't know him. I didn't know of him. As far as I know, there's no existing relationship between us. It was a sheer coincidence that our paths might cross over 100 years apart from each other, and yet it was enough of a convergence to have it generate a song. In the summer of 2002, I spent some time in the Adirondack Mountains with my family. I've spent many vacations there. I take a lot of pictures, too, especially when I'm on vacation. I take pictures of things I find interesting to look at, of things I might want to remember, or of things I might want to paint or write about someday. Maybe. It's like a visual notebook, but it's very loose. I see something I like, snap, I take the picture. Even though being in the mountains is a great way to refresh my creative energy, and the mountains are a great place to take pictures, this is a very passive exercise for me. It's more about absorbing the wonder of the environment in that moment than it is about collecting images to find something that will inspire a specific project. Many times it's just good to be. I don't review much of the material until I'm home, and I take a moment to pore over some of the memories I captured with my camera and if anything registers creatively. On this particular day, after driving by a small graveyard near where we were staying a few times, I thought I should stop in. Over the years, I had driven by that same cemetery a number of times with curiosity, as one might do in an area you frequent, but don't spend extended time in. You seem to develop a weird and distorted sense of familiarity when you go to a place, an area, or a region with any regularity. In a way, it feels like you kind of belong there, but in a way, not really much at all. It's comfortable with caution. Still, because it was a sunny, quiet day, I let curiosity win one, and I stopped in to take a look. Cemeteries are fascinating places to me. When I step out of the car, I always feel like I'm in the opening scene of Night of the Living Dead, and people always seem to talk in cemeteries like they're in a library. As I walked among the markers, I read the various names and dates and tried to envision the lives of the people who were laid to rest there. I snapped a few photos of the area in various layouts and angles, as if I was doing some location scouting for a film crew. You never know. Then I came across this one particular stone. The name on the stone was Bradford B. Hutchins, who died on February 10th, 1860 at the age of 41. 41! That seems young by our standards, and it would be tragic, in fact, but when you consider that he died in 1860, he was right in the pocket of life expectancy for the time. Sure, it would have been nice for him or for anyone to live beyond what is considered the standard issue life expectancy number, but on paper, or carved in stone as it was, he lived a full life, or so I surmise. I don't really know. I remember taking the photo because of how the gravestone looked, how legible the name was, the fact that Bradford B. Hutchins seemed like a somewhat regal name, and perhaps because I might have felt a twinge of sadness for what I thought was an early passing. Probably, too, because I was heading into 40 myself. The connection made life feel short. So, snap. For whatever reason, at that moment, I didn't notice that there was something else written on the stone. It was probably because I was focused on getting the shot the way I wanted it overall. Once I got my prints made and I had a chance to give them a closer look, I saw it. Near the bottom, it said, "We all do fade as a leaf." That was cool. I really liked it. I didn't know where it came from. I never heard it before. I figured it was from something like a song or a poem or the Bible. Upon doing a little research, dang, it was the Bible for the win. I was really hoping that it had come from a song or a poem. I'm not really the person you want interpreting your Bible quotes, but for clarity, depending on your preferred edit, different versions of the Bible have variations of the quote. According to a King James version, the line comes from Isaiah 64:6, for those of you keeping score. It reads, "But we are all as an unclean thing, and our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away." Bummer. I don't know. At a minimum, with all the unclean stuff and the righteousness as filthy rags and such, it suddenly all seemed too complicated and unpleasant. But then I thought, I'm not obligated to adhere to a singular use or message, whatever the message is, or whatever it came from. I decided to think of the phrase outside of the biblical context and focus on the particular phrase more as an example of the life cycle. You're born and blossom, you grow into your life, and eventually your time passes. The metaphor of the leaf as life was beautifully simplistic, and that is when I thought it belonged in a song. My song would be about Bradford B. Hutchins and the life he led. Not his real life, I don't know him, but my imagined life for him, tied to the leaf metaphor. I wrote and recorded the first demo of the song between August and November of 2002. I had the chorus and the notes for the chorus first. That was the easy part. The phrase I had from the tombstone made it half done. As I churned that through my mind, the rest of the song came to me over the weeks. Act 1. A young and carefree man in his youth, with little more on his mind than his joy and his conquests. There is no end to his good times. He is indestructible. Then Act 2. A wiser man who comes to realize that there is more to life than acquiring things and besting people, in part because he is made to learn that life, all life, is finite. So you can do what you can do with the life you're given. Everyone has choices. Do you rip and tear at it, leaving behind nothing but smoke, ash, and memories of the fast lane, or do you use your time in other ways, ways that nurture a different legacy as you strive for something different or better? There's no judging here. You do you. It's likely that the only thing I have in common with Bradford B. Hutchins is that we were both here, and at some point we will both be gone. And I tried to avoid having the song sound like a lecture, more as a representation of that life cycle, the metaphor, the leaf. To me, it's his story, and he's not around to defend himself, so I guess that's a him problem. The working title of the tune was Bradford B. Hutchins' Lament. I changed that at some point to Epitaph. 1, because it takes the pressure off old Bradford, and 2, because that is where the song comes from and may represent the thoughts left by the song once it too is gone. Another eternal question: what do you want your life to be? Let's play. Here's a go at Bradford B. Hutchins' Lament, or Epitaph. A younger man with grand designs once saw a world fraught with potential, and life was his to do with as he pleased. Wealth and love were pools to drink from with little thought of consequence, self-satisfied with manufactured dreams. A lust for greatness, a drive for glory, a blind eye to the world. Success was weighed in trinkets, hearts, and gold. Yet we all do fade as a leaf. Yet we all do fade as a leaf. A wiser man now sees the world in pristine lakes, majestic mountains, a bittersweet discovery with a cost. For hopes and prayers and best intentions cannot dissuade the hands of fate. A diagnosis magnifies time lost. With what remains, a redirection, a quest for his humanity, a chance to know his world before it ends. Yet we all do fade as a leaf. Yet we all do yet we all do fade as a leaf. Yet we all do fade as a leaf. Till next time, play freely.